Yo, 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 what's going on, people? Back again with another Red Talk. And you, man, already know emergency meeting settings, bruv. You know what I'm saying? I'm safe, blood, but I don't know. That fraud ain't looking too safe. We saying, Haj?
I'm good, bro. I'm all good. What are you saying? How's life? How's life treating you?
Good, bro. Not too bad. Not too bad. I can't complain, bro. You know, it's that time of the year, bruv. All the frauds that started in January in the gym have all gone back into hibernation, bro. So I had the gym to myself this morning. You know what I'm saying? So now we're good, bro. Now we're good, man. Can't complain. What you telling me?
I'm chilling, fam. Chilling. Man United lost again. Even though that was first defeat 2024, but every game has felt like a defeat. But yeah, fam, it's a slow season. I'll be real. It's a slow season, but it is what it is.
Yeah, 100%. It's one of them ones where we always lose the football match, but we've ended up winning the game. You know, like that. And this time we lost the game and we lost the football match. So yeah, it was one of them things where it was a weird one for me because it's like since the new owners have come in, yeah, I'm just like I'm excited for the end of season to see what's going on because all the noises I'm hearing are positive, but then at the same time, it's like this football's horrendous, bro. Like, but when we equalized, I was like, yo, we're gonna win this. You know them ones, because I'm so used to what United have done in the last 3 or 4 weeks. I was like, yo, we're gonna win this game. And then when we lost it at the death, yeah, like it hurt me more than it hurt before because it was kind of like I actually felt like we were gonna win. And then we lost. Whereas most of the time I'm expecting us to lose and we lose. So it's not really, you get me? It was a weird one, bruv. Like the dagger, that was literally like a dagger, bro, right at the end. So it was one of them ones where we got what we deserved. Don't get me wrong. We deserved to lose that game, but I just thought that we were gonna get away with one again and we didn't. So it was weird.
I thought the same thing. I was like, I can see it like last minute. I remember I even said it like on a group chat. I was like, yo, I think United are gonna get like a last minute penalty. Like, we haven't had a penalty in years. I was like,
It
I reckon
feels
United,
like it, isn't it?
I was like, I reckon United get a last minute penalty, VAR, Bruno scores, and once again, like unbeaten, this and that, this and that. But bro, do you know what it is? If you watch the game, you would have seen we were so open that nah, like that final goal for me just had me fuming because I was like, I get it, like 1-1 at Old Trafford. Even if you want to try grind out a point, the fans won't let you. Like they're screaming attack, attack, attack. You have to go for it. But it's like everyone goes, but nobody comes back. And it's like the Adama goal, sorry, the Iwobi goal was just, it was so funny to watch how he's just running past, man. And no one is like going to take him out like that
It was
tactical
all
foul.
Adama. It was all Adama, and that was Harry Maguire's job to do, but he was booked, didn't it?
You know what it is? You say it's Harry Maguire. I'll be honest. In my review, I don't really blame Maguire because A, booked, B, Maguire's chasing after him. He was nowhere close to him. Like, Maguire is not
No. But
so
Maguire
deep.
lets him. Maguire could have cut across him, but he didn't. In it, he let my man open his legs and go. But Maguire could have stepped across him. If that's Chiellini, he steps across him. If that's Cass falls over in front of him or something like that and does something ridiculous, like he stops the play. In it, Harry Maguire doesn't. For someone that doesn't have pace, he doesn't read danger very well. That's the one thing. He's a very reactive centre back. He's good at attacking the ball and he's good at being in low blocks, but he doesn't read danger in it. So I'm not saying it's his fault because he was on a booking and there's other men that could have done stuff.
Yeah, nah. Because for me, when I saw it 3-4 times, and I was like, cool. I was like, if Maguire wasn't on a yellow, I would be like, listen, even if you can't reach out to him, like rugby tackle, man, just dive forwards.
Yeah.
But bro, Eriksen was the closest player out of everyone, and he literally just backed out. And I was like, come on, bro. Like, fair enough, it was on the halfway line. Why are you going to take out a guy on the halfway line? Little, you know, he might lose the ball within the next 2 yards. But I'm looking at it and thinking, Eriksen, bro, like, you're literally facing our own goal. So you can see there's 4 Fulham, man, and there's 3 United, man, and one of the centre halves, and Harry Maguire, is not getting there.
They would have known how long was on the clock as well. There was literally less than a minute left. They would have known that.
And you weren't on a yellow card. So even if he did rugby tackle, man, Eriksen at best would get a yellow card. Yeah? And I'm just looking at it and I was like, bro, you were the closest person to him. take one for the team. Yeah, even if you do get sent off, so be it. It's not like you're starting games. He didn't do it. Maguire for me never got close, and then it's like, bro, even the goal, fam. Like, you're trying to tell me one Iwobi right-footed touch to tuck the ball inward, sent Dallo and somebody else. It sent man to the shops, and then he just put it into it wasn't even the
It's
bottom.
desperation, though, isn't it? Them man know how long's left on the clock, and they also know they know what it means if they concede, innit? So I don't know. It's a strange one, but I looked at the situation, yeah, and when I analyze how Man United are playing this season and how Man United played last season, it's 100% the manager's fault. Do you know what I'm saying? Because as much as people can say Christian Eriksen and stuff like that, we know statistically, and I'm sure you would remember that last season, Manchester United had the deepest defensive line in the league. We had a deep defensive line, and then we also had Eriksen and Casemiro, two guys that aren't particularly mobile, patrolling in front of that. That's where the security came from last season. Now, this 3-1-6 thing that this manager's persisting with the single pivot, is making all of our midfielders look bad, bro. Our midfield is so easy to cut through. Like, teams don't even need to pass around our midfield. They're passing through it, bro. And it's everyone. When we played Wolves, it was the same. Like, bro, the way they cut through our midfield, and it's no individual player's fault, bro. We know that Bruno's got no structural integrity when it comes to defending, and whoever's behind Bruno struggles. Do you know what I mean? I'm a massive fan of Kobe, yeah, but him and Casemiro were struggling. And then when Cass went off, Eriksen was struggling, bro. And the thing is, everyone's quick to say, oh, Cass ain't got the legs for it no more. Eriksen ain't got the legs for it. But in a properly structured team, yeah, these guys are not as exposed. Like, Kobe Mino's not quick, but he's not slow in it. And I think that watching Kobe, I'm a massive fan of his technical ability, but the speed of the game, his brain's still getting used to the speed of men's football. Like, he's still kind of in between at a level where he's so much better than everyone that he can take the ball on his back foot and he can be a bit more flat-footed to having to realize he needs to be a bit more urgent. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's just weird. That midfield, yeah, is on the ropes no matter who we play, Haj. It doesn't matter what combination we put in there. We get walked through, bro. And you have to, then you need to look at the structure.
Yeah, that's... I said it. I remember even like when I turned on Ten Hag like 3 months ago. I said there's so many reasons to turn on him, but my number one reason is structure. And I've been banging on about that. I don't really care about like what he says in press conferences and this and that. For me, I was like, you can be a dumbass in press conferences. You can be a shit human and rare tear. If your structure's in place, and that's winning me games, I couldn't give two shits about you as a person. But the structure, because the craziest thing is like this whole back 3-1-6 that he does is like, it's so easy to counter. And the problem that I've had with it this year is sometimes you come up against teams where you're like, all right, cool. Like every system you can counter, but like some systems you might require like certain players, certain profiles to do a particular job. I'm looking at the 3-1-6 and I'm like, okay, in simple terms, what does it mean? It means 6-man move forward and commit to that high press. The press is crap because I'll be honest, fam, if you're pushing 6-man for that high press, you better be retrieving the ball. The fact that we don't retrieve the ball and we've literally thrown more than 50% of our team, it tells you everything about the press, the structure of it, whether it's like the most cohesive or not. But the problem is that any team that overloads the midfield, you've literally got a 2v1, a 3v1, a 4v1. Wolves' first game of the season, they had like a 3v1 against, I think it was Casemiro that game.
Yep.
The other day against Wolves, it was like a 3v1 versus Kobe. And I'm just looking at it and I'm thinking, like, I get the way he wants to play, which is like he wants the team to push forwards because the more you push forward, the higher the chances are of you winning the ball. If you do win the ball, you've got constant options around you. But the problem is man don't win the ball. And when we do win the ball, we're not smart enough on the ball to like how can you have 6 players in attack but still make the pitch feel small? If you've got bare man in attack, you should be trying to make the pitch feel big. Because there's always options around you. And it's like this is the best way I put it sometimes. I'm like, you're committing a lot of bodies forward, but you're not reaping the rewards by scoring.
Yeah.
The only thing you're doing is conceding because you've committed so many bodies forward. So,
but then you might as well drop your defensive line 30 yards then.
That's exactly what it is. But it's like, this is just how he wants to play, in it. And like, there was a period where I was like, you know what, cool, stick to it. I'll be real. There was a period where I was like, you know what, stick to it. Yeah, at the end of the day, like, repetition is key in football. This is the only way these men are gonna learn. But the more I've been watching Man United, and it's like, I even like said it in my review, and I was like, I think these men are just being told, yo, when they get the ball, push forward. But at the end of the day, like, it's easy being told what to do. But at the end of the day, you need to know why you're doing it, because I can guarantee you, once you get taught on why you're doing this, no manager will have to tell you when to do it. Yeah, because if you understand it, you'll know when to go, when not to go, what to do. And I just feel like it's like copying someone's homework, getting an A, but then come exam day, you get a U. Like, you get 0 out of 100. Yeah, because you copied it, but in reality, you didn't understand it. And it's like, when I see everyone push forward, I'm like, you man don't know what you're doing. You're just doing it because you're being instructed to do it. And yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's horrendous, bro. That's a very good analogy. And the thing is, normally, like, when you're coaching, you'll have pressing triggers and whatnot. It's not even like we press cohesively, because pressing is not about pace, and pressing isn't necessarily about winning the ball back, but it's about manipulating your opponent and getting them to pass into areas that they don't want to pass in. You want to make them pass backwards, or you want to force them to play the ball into certain areas. And it's like, for instance, did you watch the Porto Arsenal game?
Yeah.
The way they trapped Arsenal, playing out from the back and stopped Arsenal from being able to play directly into their wide players. That's what a press looks like. And the press wasn't mad aggressive, but it was very well drilled, and we don't have that. So even this illusion that we're a pressing team, bro, that's all it is. It's an illusion. We're not a pressing team. We do not press. We commit players high up the pitch, but we don't press. It's actually pointless, bro, like what we do. And then also, when the front line is supposed to press, there's supposed to be a reaction to the players in the second line of defense, depending on how many lines of defense. If you're playing that 3-1-6 or whatever you're playing, really you want to have about 4 lines of defense on the pitch. And all the lines are supposed to react to what happens in front. Our midfielders don't react to what happens in front of them, bro. That's why there's always massive gaps. Like, the front three just run forward, and then the gap between them and the midfield's massive, and then the gap between the midfield and the defense is massive, bro. It's an absolute joke.
Yeah, it's you're right, it is a reactive thing. So it's like, if the attack pushes forward, the midfield then needs to step up to close the gap between the attack and the midfield, and then the defenders need to step up to close the gap between the midfield and the defense. And it's like, when Man United, you watch it, the attack pushes forward, midfield doesn't, but the defense stays deep. So now there's a massive gap from midfield to attack, and there's a massive gap from midfield to defense. So in a sense, it's like, once you beat the attack, Man United's first line of press, you've got the whole pitch to run through. Then once you beat the second phase, which is the midfield, you've now got the whole pitch to run onto the defense here. And you have to bear in mind, like, when your defensive line is deep, like, of course, there's pros and cons to it. Like, there's pros and cons to a high line, but at the same time, there is pros and cons to a deep line. When your defensive line is deep, you have to bear in mind that these men are going to get the chance to get the ball to the edge of your own box. And if you're coming up against teams that can punish you from those areas, then you're in trouble, because you've literally invited pressure. Like, you've allowed them into your own territory. And at the end of the day, you can be punished. But the problem is, it's just too many men are committed forwards that are just too lazy to come back. And I'll be honest, I can't believe I'm going to say this here, but like, one part of me has now reached a stage where I'm like, if you're consistently being asked to like bomb forward every time we win the ball, like, we play such a vertical style of football, which is like, it's embarrassing. Like, vertical football is good. You have to pass the ball forwards in order to score. But at the same time, you need to know when to go vertical, when to go horizontal, maybe even when to go like backwards. There's no shame in going backwards sometimes in football. It's just another way of moving the opposition and waiting for an angle to open up. But with us, it's vertical, 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 vertical. And we're just hoping and praying that it just falls to somebody. If it doesn't, bro, like, what was the game we played midweek? There was a game we played midweek, and I think in the second half, in the first 40 seconds, Man United attempted 3 vertical passes. And I was like, how are you launching the ball 3 times in 40 seconds as soon as a game started? Like, it's instructions, but the instructions are wrong. And yeah, bro, I'll be real. Like, when he does get sacked, or if he does, like, they come to a mutual agreement where he has to go, I don't think anybody, I'll be honest, I think even his biggest of supporters, I don't think anybody will look at him and be like, it was hard done by, or like it was unfair, because like tactically he's getting schooled. And it's a shame, because I actually thought he would have been one of the best like tacticians out there.
Yeah, he's getting cooked, but you know what it is? It just shows us that what he done at Ajax is what we were basing what he was gonna do at Man United on. As soon as he came out and he said, "I'm not doing that here," any bit of faith that I had with him was gone. But even before that, I remember I was having a conversation with Saeed, and he was saying that he wants to play possession football, and I said, absolutely not. There's nothing about the players that he picks and the way that we play that indicates to me that he has any interest in having the football, bro. And the thing is, like, this quote here is hilarious. Like when Ralph Rangnick said a little bit of pressing is like a little bit pregnant. Either you're pregnant or you're not, innit? And it's like either you press or you don't press. Like, and this is what it is. We don't press, really. This little half pressing thing that we're doing, yeah, this is not any football philosophy. This is just a guy, yeah, holding on for his life. Like, even his quotes after the game are bewildering, bro.
Yeah.
About how Man United fought back, and then the stuff about Ahmad saying, oh, like, he had a bright cameo and all that. Bro, we've been knowing how good this kid was, and you ain't trying to play him. And now what, you're gonna try and hope that this guy saves your job now? This guy's completely clueless. All the people that support this manager, bro, like, I don't even know what to say at this point. Like, if you genuinely support this manager, it's got nothing to do with football. It's got nothing to do with the displays. What we've been seeing, bro, because he hasn't shown that he can do anything successfully. He hasn't shown that he can build a style of play with the players that he has selected and bought. He hasn't shown that. And you want him to stay here and be the spearhead for another Man United season for when we have a clear out, and we're going to give him a team full of players that he didn't choose. If he can't play ball with the man that he wanted, why would we allow him to spearhead the revolution, bro? Like, it makes absolutely no sense. This guy's a fraud.
I think his biggest mistake was he tried to do something which no manager has tried to do in their first season. Like, for example, I look at Pep. Pep for me, or like a De Zerbi for me, or like even an Inzaghi for me. Like, they're managers where you look at their systems and you can describe it as like a hybrid, where it's like it can bop the ball around, it can play on the transition, it can high press and suffocate the opposition in their own half. Yeah. At the end of the day, before you transition into like a different style of play, you need to always make sure that you've got one of them mastered, because that's always going to be the one that you fall back to. The problem is with Ten Hag is he came to Man United and he was like, cool, first few games, I'm going to try to do, what is it, like Eriksen, lone pivot, play out from the back, lost 3-1 to Brighton, lost 4-0 to Brentford. Sky Sports hit him up for an interview. The pressure was mad, this and that. Cool. He then tried to like adapt, like, okay, cool, I don't really have the possession-based plays. At that time, we all backed him because we were like, calm, fam. Like, what? It's your first summer here. Like, you still need more money. You still need to phase out some players and He tried to do like a hybrid where I'll play out from the back, but once we get to the second phase, it's vertical, non-stop vertical. It didn't work here. And I feel like because now it's coming up to 2 years, you look at Man United, are we an amazing counter-attacking team? No, because we haven't committed to 2 years to building an amazing counter-attacking team, because counter-attacking isn't always pragmatic. It just depends on how you play counter-attacking. But at the same time, you can counter-attack. But at the same time, you need to make sure defensively you're solid. We tried to counter, but defensively we're open. So that's one style of play that he hasn't mastered in 2 years, having spent 400 million. Cool. What about high press? We don't even know how to press. The team doesn't even shuffle left, right, or even forward. So that's another system that he hasn't mastered in 2 years, having spent 400 million. Are we a possession-based team? No. Like, the elements of positional play, positional rotation, all of those don't exist at Manchester United. We spent 400 million. So you look at him now, heading into March, 400 million spent, not a single style have we mastered, yet we're trying to combine them. Yeah. So in reality, you're combining like a what? 2 out of 10 successful counter-attacking system with a 3 out of 10 successful pressing system. And in reality, you've got what? 5 out of 20? So we haven't mastered anything, but he's trying to mix them about. Like Manchester City, you look at them this year, for example, way more direct. But in some games, they're like, no. In the big games, no. We're going to bop the ball around. But the man them know how to bop the ball around because they've spent the last 2-3 years bopping the ball around. With us, he hasn't implemented any system. So trying to mix them about doesn't make sense when you haven't mastered any.
Exactly. And people talk about injuries and stuff like that, bro. Like, he's always changing stuff, bro. He always changes the back line. Do you know what I'm saying? He keeps chopping it. Even when there's not injuries, he's chopping and changing the back line, chopping and changing. Bro, the guy is literally like just throwing shit and seeing what sticks, bro. That's what it is. And you can't be doing it this far in. Like someone said in the chat, we thought, that last season was the bottom. We thought it was only up from there, bro. We didn't realize that was the ceiling of what this manager could do. We didn't. We thought that was just something that he did just to get by so he could build on it. And what we've seen, the biggest alarm bell for me was watching the preseason and how many games he put on and how many games he wasted. And then on top of that, we had behind closed door games where we were losing to Burnley and stuff like that. And it's like, bro, you had all this time to try and implement something, and yet we're what, in March pretty much. And still there's nothing to show for all the games that we've played apart from injuries, which now you're blaming for why we can't play football. But even when we're at our strongest, we're not playing ball. And we're en route to scoring less goals than last season as well. So it's like we're struggling to score goals. We've struggled to score goals both seasons. But now we're struggling to keep clean sheets, struggling to keep the ball out the net. Like, the whole thing is a disaster, bro. Like, I just don't understand, bro. Like, I don't get it, bro.
Yeah, that's where the problem is that he's struggling both ends of the pitch. When you're struggling both ends of the pitch, it's a massive crack. It's a massive crack because it's like, I always look at Klopp when Klopp took over Liverpool. And I remember like there was even that one game, I think it was against Norwich. Either they won 5-4 last minute or they won 6-5. I think it was like Adam Lallana that scored. But I remember Klopp, when he came in, looked at his defense and he was like, can't play highline with these, man. I think he had like Mignolet or someone. He was like, I can't play highline. I can't have high energy in midfield and this and that. So he was like, cool. I'm just going to make use of the attackers that I have. And I'm going to go out there to outscore the opposition. Yeah. Right, Klopp's first, half season, full season, Liverpool were conceding goals for fun. But the one thing he did do was get the best out of a certain group of players, which were his attacking players. So, cool. We're going to ship in 2 stupid goals. My attackers will get me 3. We're going to ship in 3. The man then will score me 4 in it. And I just look at Ten Hag and I feel like last year it was, I'm going to make use of my defensive players. Like, Man United had the most clean sheets last year. It's not because David De Gea was amazing. I feel like collectively, David De Gea, as much as I wanted him out, did bail us out at times. But most importantly, Sandro was good. Varane was good. Dalot started the season good. When Wan-Bissaka came in, he done well. Casemiro done well. So I was like, yeah, last year it was that. And then we relied on the Rashford moment of brilliance. Because Man United weren't bopping teams last year. We were winning 1-0, 2-1s. So you can see we focused on being defensively strong and riding our luck in attack to get that goal. Because once Man United get that one goal, defensively we were solid enough to see out the game. And I actually thought, you know what? It's a good foundation. Like, you build your team from the back. Now let's see what you can do with the attacking players this year. The attacking players are not even contributing what they contributed last year. But the problem is now the defensive players are not contributing what they contributed last year. So you've regressed. You were a better team last year, regardless of how crap the football was. At least last year you had one area of your team that was functioning to a high level. Midfield don't function. Attack don't function. Defense don't function. Should we add in the keeper? The keeper doesn't do his job. And bro, it's like it's a recipe for disaster, and it's been a shit show since the start. But at the end of the day, why is no area functioning? you could look at personnel, but I'll be so honest, innit? Like, there have been games this season where I've been like, listen, get me and my boys like from Power League and we beat this team. Like Champions League. I'm not even trying to be disrespectful, but fam, the ball that Copenhagen and Gala were playing, you don't need full strength 11 to beat Gala at home. You don't, bro. Like it's one of those games where I can guarantee you most managers will just pick the 11 and be like, man, them, just go out there and play your game. I trust you to unlock these, man. I don't need to dive deep into the tactics on how to unlock a Galatasaray midfield. And the fact that Man United struggled, injuries, personnel, for me, it's not an excuse anymore.
I agree, bro. Like loads of people were talking rubbish about, oh yeah, like we didn't have Kobe Mino or Cass was suspended and all that. It's like, bro, you don't need full strength teams to deal with these teams, bro. But the problem is this team's got absolutely no structure. Zero structure. And people talk about us being worse in attacking areas. But bro, when you look at it, man was saying that Weghorst was rubbish. And man was saying that Martial's rubbish. I saw a quote, I don't know if it was a real quote though from the manager. And I seen a quote basically insinuating that we played our best football with Martial up front last season. But bro, like these men were going on that Martial was robbed. These men were going on like Weghorst was robbed. So these men are rubbish. They're out the team now. Why are we struggling to score goals? Why are we scoring less goals without these two players that were rubbish? It doesn't make sense.
I'm not gonna lie, you're struggling to score goals because I'll be real. Like for me, Martial, even last year, like he wasn't anything special. Weghorst for me, you know what's crazy? I'm not gonna lie. When we signed Weghorst, I actually ran his prop because I had seen him at Besiktas. But nah, Weghorst for me was trash as well. I'll be real. But the difference and this is what falls on the manager. If you're gonna have Weghorst and the Martials complement our wingers, or should I say winger, because whoever you put on the right-hand side is relatively ineffective. Those players aid Rashford. Rashford scored. Rashford had fun last year because it was either Martial or Weghorst, which both play this game where they're willing to sacrifice their output in order for him to eat. Now, there's nothing wrong with it. At the end of the day, it's a team game. Everybody.
But this is my point. But this is exactly the point I'm trying to make.
So it's if you sign a Højlund, and I remember at the time, I think even me and you said it. I was like, Højlund and Rashford for me is not going to work because for so many different reasons. But I don't think Rashford and Højlund will work. The funny thing is that if you sign Højlund, you have to accept you need different wingers. If you sign Martial, you need to accept you need different wingers. Like you can't have creative wingers and throw in a Martial that's never ever in the opposition box. You get a Martial, you know what he's going to bring, get the goal scoring wingers. Similar to how Liverpool never looked at Bobby Firmino. That was what? I think he was like a number 10 I think they signed him from Hoffenheim. He wasn't even a striker at Hoffenheim, but they were like, listen, that skill set will unlock Salah. It will unlock Mane. Man, them are putting up 25 goals. Man United, you sign Højlund, you need to get better wingers. But he wasn't willing to drop Rashford. Wasn't willing to drop Garnacho, or he wasn't willing to drop Anthony.
And he didn't give Pelistri a chance, bro. An orthodox winger that gets down the byline and puts the ball in the box. So that shows me this guy don't know what he wants, bro. Like Pelistri crosses the ball, bro. He's not a shoot first wide man, bro. If you want service for Højlund, you need players like Sancho, you need players like Pelistri on the pitch if you want to play for your centre forward. I don't believe in playing for your centre forward in the modern game. Like I just don't think that's where the game is right now. I think that the centre forwards most of the time, unless you're Erling, like teams are not going to play for you. Even the benefit of having a Harry Kane or an Ivan Toney is that they will drop deep and they will link, bro. But the day of playing specifically to your one centre forward, bro, I think them days are long gone, bro. As soon as the game turned into a system game, teams cannot afford now to be trying to play to the strength of one player. It doesn't make sense.
Nah, it's like it's not getting the whole team to play to Højlund. It's just my biggest issue with him and Højlund has always been that he hasn't known how to use him. That's always been like my biggest pet peeve with Ten Hag, because I'm like, at the end of the day, if you sign a player, you signed him for a reason. Maybe it's because you've studied his game, you know how to get the best out of him and what he's done with Højlund is very similar to what Pep does with players, which is you sign a player for a certain skill set and you try to rebrand them into something that only time will tell whether they are or they're not. Like Pep, Grealish, Mahrez, Cancelo, Rodri, all of these, man, took them, rebranded them after a year, threw them into the starting 11. You signed a kid that played in a split striker system in a 3-5-2 Gasperini, and you brought him to the Premier League and just threw him up front with three of the most selfish players in behind. Like it was never ever going to work. It's like signing Lautaro Martinez, who his whole career has played with another man in attack, and then you put him in the Premier League 4-3-3, go score. It won't work.
It's facts, but it's 100% facts. But bro, come on, how many times do we see managers do that though? We've seen managers do that all the time. I said the same thing with Jose when he signed Lukaku. It's like you signed him and you want him to play back to goal, but Romelu Lukaku is a big striker that plays like a little striker, and he relies on service. He's not a facilitator. He's not going to hold up the ball and bring people into the game. He wants to be arriving in the box and scoring goals. He don't want to do all that other stuff. And the problem is, yeah, Højlund's been misprofiled to a certain degree, but it's like, what do you expect, bro? What do you expect? And that's why I said, yeah, I could see him being more dangerous for us in wide positions, because in this back to goal centre forward position, yeah, even when you look at the goals he scored, especially the ones in the Premier League, like I watched back over them, none of them have really come from good attacking play. None of them. None of his goals, bro. You look at the 2 goals against Luton, a shank shot from Garnacho, yeah, and a pass from a Luton player into his path. The one against Wolves, he was on the floor and it hit him. He didn't know nothing about it. The one that he scored where he done the fake shot and took it with his right foot, that came from Casemiro intercepting the ball when them man were playing out. There was another one he scored where Rashford tried to dribble and the player tackled him and it fell to Højlund, bruv. Like, when you look at the goals he's scoring, yeah, he's not scoring goals as the beneficiary of good attacking play or good team play, bro. The ball's falling to man, and there's an air of fortune to a lot of goals that he's scoring, bro. So it shows you not only does the system suck, yeah, but it's like there's just a massive disconnect with him in the football team, bro.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's like there is a massive disconnect in it. But that's why I will never ever sit down and look at Højlund and be like, you're to blame for it. Like, never ever, because you know what it is, as a manager, you have to make tough decisions. I'll be honest, like, you have, like, if you want to play a certain way, you get the players to play that way. You don't get a Højlund. Like, no, I'll be honest. Like, the whole Højlund thing just annoys me, because I'm like, you saw the way Atalanta used him. Are you using him that way? No. Now, fair enough. I'm all for players getting rebranded. I'm all for it. Like, if anything, sometimes rebranding a player gets more out of them. But the problem is, I'm like, no, by the way, like, not every manager can rebrand. Like, Pep can rebrand. Klopp has shown he can rebrand in a sense. You can't even implement a system. You sod it. Let's not dive that deep. It's not even about implementing a system. You can't even get something out of the players that you've signed. You look at the signings. He got something out of Alessandro. Fair enough. He got something out of Casemiro for one season. What did the other signings? You haven't gotten anything out of them. Yet you thought, let me get the 20-year-old that's got one season under his belt. So you have to bear in mind, he's already going to be raw as hell. He's going to be underdeveloped, underexperienced. Yeah. In a sense, you shouldn't even be really relying on him week in, week out the way you are. On top of everything, like, a split striker system is good when it works, because you, like, split strikers, you'd have one guy that brings something to the table that the other one doesn't. It's no surprise they partnered Højlund with Zapata. Zapata can drop deep, use his body, hold up the ball, whilst Højlund runs the channels. Man United, we tried split striker system once this season, and I loved it. I was like, please stick with it. But even then, the 2 men that we put up front in the split striker system, it was against Brighton when we lost 3-0. It was Rashford and Højlund. They're very similar. I've always said, like, based on the players that we currently have, split striker system would only work with Højlund and Martial, because they're both complementary. Martial's deficiencies are Højlund's strengths. Højlund's deficiencies are Martial's strengths. But he doesn't want to do it, fam. He's just trying to force the guy to play down the middle, back to goal, like, turn him into something that he isn't. And if you want to do that, you better make sure your player development and your player coaching, is on point. And he's already shown player development, not really not really the guy for it. Rebranding, not really the guy for it. So Højlund drowning for me is just he wanted a target man. Like the way we play, he wanted a target man. He didn't sign a target man, but he signed a player that was physical, and he was like, let me turn him into a target man. It's literally Jose and Pogba. I want a combative DM. Pogba, what, 6'4", quick feet,
and tried to turn him into John Obi Mikel, blood.
There you go, bro. That's what it was. Pogba, who spent the majority of his career at Juve playing advanced. He had the Vidals and the Pirlos and the Marquisios, but he comes to Man United, sit single in this pivot and just start breaking play. Pogba, fair play to him, man. He done well because he's just a quality player. But it's like, even then, did we get the most out of Paul Pogba? No,
hell no,
we didn't.
100%. Big up everyone inside. Make sure you smash up the likes. Over 1,000 of you lot in here. And yeah, this is it. The narrative today is all these players are trying to get rid of Ten Hag. Bro, they always have to try and blame the players, bro, and do this player power stuff and all that. You know what? I've said this before. Player power is the biggest myth in football, bro. It's the biggest myth because players have always had power. Always. Man United fans need to understand here that Sir Alex Ferguson was an anomaly. Arsene Wenger was an anomaly. When you go through most teams, David Moyes at Everton was an anomaly. When you go at most teams, like Dan Ashworth said in an interview, the average shelf life for a manager is 14 months, bro. So the fact that you had managers that done 20 years and all these other things, bro, these people think that this is the going rate, for managers. No. Most managers have just over 12 months to prove that they're good enough to stay in the job, to remain there. So this player power narrative is absolute doo-doo, bro. If you're a manager, and you can't get the best out of your players and the players are not responding to you, you lose your job. That happens anywhere. It's easier to replace one man than it is to replace 25 men. It's always been like this. So this myth of, the players are getting the manager the sack. No, the manager's getting himself the sack, because part of being a manager is controlling the dressing room, managing personalities, managing players' minutes. That's part of the job, you know. It's not just picking the team. It's not just picking the team. What, you think the manager just picks the team? No. It doesn't make no sense. So when people are saying, Ollie's players and that, bro, listen, Ollie was at the club for 3 years, but bro, when Ollie left, the players were sad that Ollie left because, cool, he got on with them. But no one's downing tools because they're riding for Ollie, bro. It's not that deep. Ten Hag's just not a good coach. That is all. That is all, bro. And the way people are trying to take away any sort of accountability from this manager is actually embarrassing at this time, because no manager can say that they've been back financially more than him. No one. No manager can say that they've been backed in terms of who they wanted more than him. Like I said already, we went back and overpaid for Lissandro. We went back and overpaid for Anthony. We went back and overpaid for Mason Mount. We went to get Amrabat to the point where before they wanted us to pay for him, and somehow we managed to negotiate a loan deal for Amrabat. We went back for Amrabat multiple times, bro. That saga dragged out for the whole summer, bro. Like, everyone knew Amrabat was coming. He wanted a left back. He wanted a left back on loan. We got one, which he didn't play because Malacia got a long-term injury. And then what did he do? He played Amrabat, and he played Amrabat, Dallo, and Lindelof at left back instead of playing the left back that we went and got on loan. He pushed for loan signings of Reguilon and Sabitzer last season, got them. Man United don't normally do loan signings in January. This guy's been backed more than any manager that I've seen, bro. Like, post-Ferguson. Nobody has been backed more than him. And man have the cheek to turn around and say that the players are throwing him under the bus. That's crazy to me. That's actually crazy to me. He's thrown himself under the bus, bro.
Nice. I see when people say, like, you know what it is? It's just reached that stage. Yeah, like the way football works is that whether it's now or in 3, 4, 5 years time, we will be here once again discussing, is this manager good enough? Is he not? And I feel like nowadays, like, not just Man United, like so many other teams, when the manager is not doing well, I feel like people always try to be like different and try to like find that that different reason for why this manager is not doing well yet. In some cases, it can apply, but I'll be so honest. You look at Ten Hag, and I will openly put myself out there. I was one of his biggest of fans, like biggest of advocates, biggest of supporters. And you look at Ten Hag, and you just try like scrap all agenda, all bias aside. It's got nothing to do with player power because like all these players, one of Ollie's players is the guy that bagged him like what 30 GA last year, and everyone was telling me like, "Yo, Ten Hag's unlocked him in Rashford." The other one was Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw was good last year. Luke Shaw season is over, and he has started 5 games for Man United this year.
I think he gave him a new contract as well.
Yeah, like that's another Ollie player. McTominay is what I think on the same amount of goals as Højlund. Like surely if all these players were against him, yeah, but I'll tell you for free, McTominay, like at the end of the day, you can always divert a header off goal and you can divert it on goal, innit? Yeah, like McTominay would be missing those chances. But
yeah,
it's just people want so many different reasons to blame or like so many different things to blame besides just looking at the manager. And at the end of the day, by the way, you can still back a manager and say, yo, man got this wrong. Man is doing this wrong.
Yeah. People think when you critique someone straight away, it's a hatred thing, bro. Listen, I got no hate for no one on planet Earth, bro. But bro, when I'm critiquing players, yeah, it's because you can do better, bro. Everyone makes mistakes, bro. Man, I see Pep make mistakes all the time, bro. It is what it is, bro. In his head, he thinks he's doing the right thing, but bro, no one's perfect. Man are gonna make mistakes. Man are gonna do things that are peculiar to us, so we're gonna think, you know what? Why is man doing that? It's part of being a football fan, bro. Now, everyone's got an opinion. It doesn't mean it automatically it's an agenda. And I said the same thing about Kobe Mino. Like, I'm a massive fan of his. I bought his shirt, bro. But there were times in the last game I saw where he was getting caught on his heels because he was almost too relaxed. And you can tell that he's used to playing at a slower pace of game when he's playing with his age mates. Now he's playing in men's football. He just needs to be a bit more on his toes, a bit more twitchy, bro, because he can't use his body to get out of problems like he did when he's playing with kids, bro. You're playing with big man now. You can't just be receiving the ball on the back foot or flat-footed and a man comes and just lean on him and stuff, because you might be big playing with your age mates, but when you're playing with these 6'4" flipping behemoths, bruv, in the Premier League, it's a different ball game. He nearly got caught on the ball a couple of times, and that's a player that I really love watching. But as soon as I said that, I said, yo, like, he needs to be a bit more switched on. And that man was saying, oh, Rants, he's only 18. Shut up, man. He's playing men's football, bro.
Yeah, I think it's just like modern day society, especially like when it comes to football. Like, you can't, if you criticize, it automatically means you hate. If you praise, it automatically means you're a fan, innit? Yeah, at the end of the day, you can always like just speak on things in isolation. Like, you speaking on Kobe, you're speaking on Kobe against Fulham, not Kobe as a whole, innit? And I just feel like people need to, you know what it is? It's one of those things, yeah, people understand it. It's just, do they want to understand it based on like whose mouth it's coming out of? That's where the main difference is, yeah. But with Ten Hag, it's, trust me, you can go down the player power route, you can go down the recruitment route, you can go down the structure route. As much as some of them do have some legs, the one that stands out the most is just sit down, put the game on. You know what? Go to a game. I've been to games this season, and funnily enough, the structure is shocking on TV. But in the stadium, it is 10 times worse because just you see things so much more clear when you go to Old Trafford. And when you look at the ground, bro, when you look at the ground that needs to be covered, like if you've played football, you know that ground is not a joke, especially when it's the 80th minute and you're tired.
TV don't do justice, how big the pitch is. It doesn't.
That's what it is, bro. And it's like when you go, like I remember when I went like before Christmas, I was like, wow. Like I was like, I knew there were problems with the structure. I knew there were problems with the press. But then when I watched it, I was like it just cemented it for me. I was like, so you could try and blame many people as you want. At the end of the day, like we've seen games where more than 50% of the team have been his signings and we lost. We've also seen games where more than 50% have been Oli Jose signings and we've lost. At the end of the day, I can ask anybody right now, what's Man United's best 11? And you'd struggle.
Yeah,
you would struggle because it's not a matter of personnel. It's a matter of structure, because at the end of the day, a flawed structure will make ballers look shit.
Facts.
A good structure will make shit players look good. And with Man United at the moment, fair enough, we've got shit man but we've also got a shit structure, and it's no surprise we've lost 10 times in the league.
Yep, there you go. And this is what it is, people. Obviously, a manager that we've been linked with here is Julian Nagelsmann. The rumors are coming out saying that they like him because he's young, he's got a clear style of play, etc., etc. Obviously, these lot know I'm not the biggest fan of Nagelsmann, but I said if we do end up with him, I'll give him a chance to prove me wrong. Like, where do you sit on Nagelsmann?
Nagelsmann I like, but at the same time I don't like. Like, I feel like to be fair, it's under a new board. His style of football is very offensive. Like, it's very like rock and roll, push high up the field. If you want Nagelsmann to work, you're gonna need, like, there's not a single player in this team that I look at and think maybe it can work out. Maybe Dalot.
No, I think Dalot for sure. That's the first player that came to mind.
Dalot, Kobe. Like, at the end of the day, for me, like, Kobe's still not the player that he'll become in it. Like, at the end of the day, it's all about developing him, nurturing him. So the young players are always welcome to stay, but I don't look at any player like above 20. Dalot, fair enough. Like, for me, he's shown this season. You want to play counter-attacking, I'll do well. Build up, I'll do well. Ask me to tuck inside, I'll have an impact. No one else do I really look at and think, yeah, you're guaranteed to stay. But are Man United willing to go down that direction where it's like the report today that came out that United are planning like more than 10 player departures? If that is the case and you do bring in a Nagelsmann, then fair enough, it can work. Whether or not he can take the team back to like competing and winning trophies, I don't know. But like the philosophy, it does stand ground in the modern game. But he's going to need like
insane backing
in terms of signings and departures. And yeah, but I'll be real. Nagelsmann, like, don't expect anything in the first year or two. Like, the way he wants to play, it might actually take 18 months just to drill into these players. So if we get Nagelsmann, I'll say it from now, maybe third season, I'll be like, safe. Now let me see what you're cooking, because the way he wants to play, it's going to take a while. Unless you go out and sign him players that play for teams that play in the way that he wants the team to play. But those players will come at a price, which I don't know if these guys would be willing to pay.
Yeah, no, I hear it. But that's what I'm saying. So I don't really know what's going on. But I said, like, the way these men are moving, with the recruitment side of things, I'm excited to see what they do. All I know is, from what I'm feeling from everything that's coming out, this manager's gone for sure. Because they talk about the style of play, they're talking about attacking, and Ratcliffe was saying, bro, Man United need to be playing their best football, bro. So they're looking at the brand of football as well. They don't just care about the results. Obviously, the results are not great, but the brand of football is not good, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? And when you bring in someone like Barada, there's no way that he's going to be like, all right, cool, we're going to continue and we're going to persevere with this Ten Hag ball, whatever it is. So it looks like we're going to get a new manager. If this is the shortlist of the three, I'd take the Zerbi. However, if we get Nagelsmann, like I said, guys, bro, like, I'll give him an opportunity to show me what he's trying to do in it, because I'd rather a manager that has a philosophy than a manager that don't have one. Like, even Ralph's thing, Ralph was the rock and roll thing, and it's not my favorite kind of football. But when he played the 4-2-2 against Crystal Palace and we absolutely smoked them in the first half, I was like, you know what? Even though this is a bit too frantic for my liking, and I do prefer watching the way that interplay and the way they keep the ball, like, I can get behind a system, yeah, that's frantic if it works.
I think before they appoint a manager, they need to just sit down and go through the players. That's what I would do. Probably, like, because as much as I hate to say it, I think if you decide to keep Rashford, you need to know, like, the Zerbi ball, Potter ball, it ain't gonna work with Rashford in it. And the thing is, you're gonna put the manager in trouble before he even puts pen to paper, because at the end of the day, Rashford's the poster boy. And this is what I mean when I see United need a major clear out, yeah. And if you want to be smart about it, which players do you want to keep? If you decide you want to keep a Rashford, then at the end of the day, fair enough, just get a manager that plays to Rashford's strengths, which has more to offer, like in terms of
But don't you think Nagelsmann, Rashford can play in a Nagelsmann system, but Rashford needs to improve his work rate. But he's got the attributes to play in that system.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, that's where they're going to have to make a decision, because Rashford is no 22-year-old that you're probably looking at and thinking, like, at the end of the day, the reason why I said I would keep the younger players is because younger players, this is the age where they do develop, where they do grow, where you can rebrand them in a sense. You know, you can't. Rashford is like what, 26, 27.
Yeah.
You can't go up to a 26, 27 that's popped onto the scene at 18, played head down, run into man, cut in, shoot. Sometimes it goes in, sometimes it doesn't. That plays for himself. You can't turn around at 27, 26 years of age and tell him, listen, from now on, you start doing this. You cut this out and you add this to your game. And the question is, even if he agrees, how long is it going to take him to become that player? Because, imagine it takes him a year. This 26-year-old will be 27. If he is 27, he'll become 28. And a player like Rashford, where 50% of his game, or let's say more than that, relies on physicality, if that begins to go, then by the time that you've rebranded this guy, how much are you getting out of him? 1-2 years? Was it worth it in the first place? Probably not. So that's why I keep the younger players, because even if you take 1-2 years to rebrand the younger players to get them to play your way, Kobe will be 20, learn how to play a particular way. You've got a whole decade of Kobe. And that's why I just go through the list and I'll be like, who we keeping, who we not keeping. If it's a matter of trying to reduce the amount of money that they spend and they're going to try and keep players around, then just get a player that works to these players in it. Of course, like a manager that's more disciplined, a manager that can get more out of them, like a hands-on coach. But if it's just a clean slate, everyone is gone. Or if you stay, you're going to be judged off 2 years, similar to what Barada said.
Yeah.
Then just go get a manager with a good philosophy. And at the end of the day, I'll always know if these men don't pull their weight, they're gone. But I'll be honest, even on the new boards, fam, I look at some of these men and I just think, you men are not leaving. I've always said Rashford's going to be here by the time I fucking have kids.
Yeah, you're right, because Rashford should be one of the first players out the door. And the reason why I say that is, when you look at Arsenal, when they were rebuilding, all the players that kind of had the majority of the influence, they shipped them. And I think that Rashford's got a lot of influence by default because he's been at the club for a long time. The same as Luke Shaw. Players like that, if you really want a fresh start, you fuck them off. That's what you do, because they're going to have an influence on the younger players. Remember, players like Kobe Mino and stuff like that would have grown up seeing Rashford as the one that got through before them. Do you know what I'm saying? It's Rashford's face on the wall. These kind of guys, the McTominays and that these younger players are looking up to, because they saw it as, like they got through to the first team. Now I'm here, bro. Them man you need to get rid of, bro, because they're influential, bro. That's what people don't realize. Whether we think they're good or not, these men have influence, bro. Don't think that Rashford don't have influence on Kobe Mino and these men, because he does. McTominay, Luke Shaw, these men have influence on these young players. But like someone said in the chat, because of this homegrown quota as well, like, what do we do? If we get rid of them, we're probably going to have to replace them with English players. And you know what the English tax is like already. And there's no real good English players out there that I would go out and spend money on. So it's a bit of a sticky one. That might be the only thing that keeps them here.
Yeah, no, that's what it is, bro. Like, when you look at every team, every single team, they're always pushing this like homegrown thing. Like, you look at Manchester City, whenever they do well and this and that, the first name that gets mentioned is Phil Foden from the academy and rare. Fair enough. Like, he's holding his own ground in it, so he's worth the praise in it, Arsenal, anything that happens well, Saka, Hell End, and this and that,
and then Rice, the English team.
Chelsea, you look at the time, it was what, like the Reece James, the Mason. Actually, I don't think Mason Mount was on.
Yeah, it would have been Reece James, Mason Mount, and then Conor Gallagher came through later.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, Conor Gallagher, and now they're trying to throw this like Alfie guy prop and this and that. It just paints a better story in it. Yeah, like they would love to like Man United win the league, and it's like Rashford has 25 goal season, and it's like Rashford dragged United out of the mud, homegrown. Rashford will do an interview about like, I wanted to get Man United back to where they belong. I've been watching them since I was a kid, bro. It's just a good story, and at the end of the day, that's what they live for, because like, not even trying to be like racial in a sense, but like, you see so many teams out there, they don't want foreigners because they're like, fam, like, I don't really. These foreigners don't understand what it means to play for Team A or for Team B, but fam, them foreigners are techie. Them foreigners will win you that league. Yeah, because these men come here with one job and one job only, to play football.
Facts.
They don't come here for anything else. Yeah, I'm here to do a job. So at the end of the day, like, football in the UK will always favor stuff like that, like homegrown and this and that. And that's why for me, like, Rashford is here until he decides he doesn't
want to
want
be
to be
here.
here anymore.
Agreed.
That's what it is.
Agreed. And that's the problem, unfortunately. The fact that Luke Shaw can last 10 years here without really contributing anything in the grand scheme of football tells you, yeah, how this institution's been set up. So I feel like we need a big casualty in the summer. We need a big one. It needs to be Bruno or like a Rashford or something like that. I think, bro, I'm hopeful that it's Bruno, but we need a big casualty. We need one of the players. Like, I wouldn't even say, like, there's rumors of Casemiro and Varane getting moved on, but even if they get moved on, those are not big casualties because they haven't been here very long, and also they're past their best in terms of, bro, they've already gone and won everything there is to win pretty much in football. Them man don't give a shit. But moving on someone like a Bruno or a Rashford or a Luke Shaw, we need a proper statement to be made to let man know that, listen, mediocrity is no longer going to be tolerated here, because at 29 years old, Bruno's not going to get any better. I don't know a system in world football where I would say it's a Bruno system, because he's just not a good footballer. Like, I don't know a style of play that I would say, would get the best out of him, because I don't believe you can get the best out of a footballer that doesn't like the football. I don't understand him. I don't understand how he is a professional footballer. I'm so bemused by everything that he is that I cannot see any coach wanting to coach this guy, bro, because he's not technical and his attitude stinks as well, bro. Like, we just lost the game. We lost the game to Fulham. The guy's always cheating. He's always rolling around. He's always complaining to referees, bro. He's exactly the opposite of what we're trying to build. Like, we have to get rid of this guy.
I think Bruno and Rashford for me stay. As much as I've been saying I've got a feeling Bruno goes in the summer, I don't know what it is. I have this feeling that Bruno might go, but I don't think the board or anyone at United are looking at the Brunos and the Rashford. I think they're looking at more. I've always said the highest earners at Man United have got a big bounty on their head. They've got a massive bounty because these guys are going to try and reset the wages.
Rashford's one of them, though. They did say that they want to change the contracts to performance-based.
I think Rashford will be the only one that survives in it. And I think it's because they're just going to look at him and be like, Rashford, Man United, this and that, cool. Like, we'll roll the dice on you. I think all the other high earners, from the Sanchos, Varanes, Casemiros, I can't remember who the fifth one was. There was another fifth one. I think those guys.
Varane, Cass, De Gea's already gone.
There's another one on 300. There's another one on 300.
It's only Martial. That's it. No, not Martial. Martial's on less than that. Rashford. It's only Rashford. It's Rashford, Cass, Varane, Sancho, De Gea.
Yeah. Those are the four on 300.
And De Gea's gone already. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are the four on the 300 plus, isn't it? I think Rashford's the only one that survives. I think the other three United will get rid of. And then I think it will be like the McTominays, like, we've got players out on loan. Like, United will try to get maybe like 5-10 million for them. It'll be those types of players that go. But Bruno and Rashford, for me, get one more year. Bruno, because he's captain. Now, at the end of the day, the new manager is not going to walk in from day one and be like, you're not my captain anymore. They will definitely get him.
He has to.
He has to, but
yeah.
I don't think he will. I think it's, as much as we might support him being a bit too ruthless, I don't think as a manager going into it, he'll be like, maybe this isn't the best way to start things. It's a clean slate. Let me see what you can contribute to me as a captain. Yeah, so Bruno gets a year. Rashford gets a year. Everyone else for me is who goes in it. But I'll be honest, at the end of the day, as long as you improve the squad as a whole, over time, I feel like the cracks will begin to show in it. And like, Bruno will like force
play
himself
his way out
of
the team.
Yeah, exactly. He will force himself out of the team, because if you want to play a particular way, captain or not, similar to like when Jose Valencia, he wanted to play a particular way, but Jose realized, you're captain, but you can't do what I want you to do. Be the captain on the bench. And I reckon that will happen. But any manager that pays any heavy importance to Bruno, which is your captain, and I can't bench you, then you're setting yourself up for failure. Like, captain or not, treat him the exact same as any player on the bench. That's it.
Yeah, no, 100%. But that's what you got to do. You got to bench him. You got to bench him 100%. And I think that could happen because if it is to be Nagelsmann, I'm hoping it's De Zerbi and not Nagelsmann. But if it is, and he's going to get the backing to bring in whoever he wants, because Jim's kind of made it clear that there's money, and also because he's come through with money, it's got FFP off our back. We're going to spend money this summer in it, and we're going to move players on. I just think, bro, these men need to make a statement with outgoings and also incomings and the manager, bro. Like, we just need to be ruthless. I don't think there's a time for this gently approach. Like, even stuff like getting rid of people like Darren Fletcher and stuff like that. Fuck him off, bro. What's he doing here? Even Ralph said, I don't know what this brother does. He said it when he was here, and he said it in a press conference. So, he ain't got no respect for him, because he literally said, I don't know what he does. He's supposed to be like some director or something or what, and the brazen tracksuit bottoms on the training ground. Like, I'm confused. Like, I don't understand what's going on at this football club. So these men need to come in. They need to clean house upstairs, and then on the pitch, man need casualties. I don't even care if it's players that I like that they get rid of. I just want to see movement, bro.
I reckon that's going to be the statement. It's not going to be a statement name. It's going to be more the amount of players that get shifted. That will be the statement. Because if Man United, let's say, actually do sell 10 man, we've never ever done that in our lives. Yeah, and I'll be honest, selling 10 man or getting rid of Bruno and keeping all the other man, like, at the end of the day, both are a statement. But I'd still go down the route of, fam, I'd keep Bruno for a year if it means I get rid of 10 man.
Chelsea pretty much did that though. Chelsea just done that, everyone in, everyone out, and they done it pretty much in one and a half windows, bro. So it can be done.
It can be done, but it's like, even with Chelsea, like, they done it, but it's like they're not reaping the rewards of it, because if you're gonna sign that many man and get rid of that many man in one window, you better start planning from now. You have to start planning from now. It's not gonna be one of those ones.
I believe they are though.
Hopefully, but the thing is, the only reason why I think they are planning, but it's like not at 100%, because how can you plan if you haven't appointed the manager yet?
I think they've already spoken to the manager and they know who the manager is going to be, bro. That's why Ratcliffe is completely distancing himself away from praising the manager. Completely. Yeah. He's had multiple opportunities to do so.
Yeah, then if that's the case, then that would make a lot of sense. But if it isn't, and it's like, wait till the summer, appoint, they're going to do the typical, let the manager be the judge, who he wants to get rid of, who he wants to keep, then yeah, United next year will be a shit show, innit? Like, what Chelsea have done is good, but the problem is Chelsea lack the plan. That's what the problem is. And Chelsea's clear out and rebuild, it had 3 different managers involved in it, from Tuchel to Potter to Pochettino. But Tuchel got Aubameyang. But Potter didn't want Aubameyang, couldn't work with him. Pochettino got rid of him. And it's like,
yeah, but that's because they've got no structure. Like what they said, the DOF said that when he was at Brighton, what Dan Ashworth said was, listen, the guys upstairs wanted a specific style of football, and it's my job to bring in managers that play that style so that we can transition between coaches seamlessly. So whichever coach we bring in now, we're not going to venture too far away from the club's philosophy moving forward. So whoever we bring in now, if we end up sacking a manager in 12 months, we're not going to have to replace these players, because there's a long-term strategy. And this is why the fact that Ten Hag hasn't been given yet assurances that he's staying, I believe that they're already speaking with the new manager. I believe they're already planning for who's going to come in and who's going to leave already, because you don't need to be at the training ground to know this. There's enough videos. There's enough, bro. Even if you just watch the games, you have an idea of the profile of the players and which players you want and which players you don't want. And Nagelsmann's played against us. So if it's Nagelsmann, he knows these players. He played against us in the Champions League, 2 seasons ago? Twice.
You know what it is? I think this idea just came to mind right now. I think this will be the smartest thing United can do if they do want to, like, plan behind the scenes. Get a director of football that's worked with the manager that you're trying to appoint. So whether it's Nagelsmann and Ranić, De Zerbi / Potter with Dan Ashworth, that would make. Actually, wait, I don't know if De Zerbi worked with Ashworth, but at the end of the day, it's like similar principles, similar style on football. But for example, if you've now 75% agreed with Dan Ashworth, you go
I
get
think he would have worked with Ashworth because he's only been at Newcastle one season, and De Zerbi, this is his second season at Brighton.
So they had like what, 6 months?
So they had 6 months. Yeah.
So they had 6 months. But at the end of the day, it's like you put yourself
But
in
that
a
means he
position.
would have hired him. That's the most important thing.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, it puts you in a boat where the director of football knows the manager, and they don't have to be both contracted to Man United in March to start getting to work. And at the end of the day, like, the manager will always trust the director in football to get him the players because he understands his philosophy probably more than anyone else. That would be smart. Like, similar to how City went and got Pep, and they got everyone upstairs at Barcelona that understands Pep, knows what Pep likes. I'm pretty certain Pep didn't know no Julian Alvarez at River Plate. At the end of the day, these guys knew what he wanted in a striker and this and that. They were doing the business whilst Pep was doing one thing and one thing only, coaching on the training pitch, because that's what he gets paid to do. If Man United can do that, it does make a lot of sense, fam. Like, just get two people that have chemistry, that have worked with one another. Let them bring like their expertise, their experience, their knowledge on the game, because that way you don't have to worry about the manager and the director of football seeing eye to eye. It might take time for him to understand what he wants, what he doesn't want. Just get two men that know one another. And there's already two out there. Like I said, Nagelsmann, Ranić, Potter, De Zerbi, Dan Ashworth. So that's what it is.
100%. And I think we're going to go down that route. I definitely do. I've answered it's important to highlight differences between Brighton and Newcastle play style. Exactly, because Ashworth said that the people upstairs determine the kind of football that they want to play, and he hires the appropriate managers. And Brighton wanted to play that brand of football. That's why they went for Potter. Now they've gone for De Zerbi. And if De Zerbi leaves, they'll go for a manager that continues to play that kind of football. Newcastle's football is a bit more robust, even though it is still kind of possession based. It's a lot more physical. All their players are over a certain height. They're a very tall and physical team, Newcastle. So that's just the brand of football that they wanted to play there. You know what I mean? And both are effective, because Newcastle last season were very effective with the football they played. They gave us trouble every time we played them. Even the final that we beat them, they were bullying us before we got the first goal. So, like, bro, he's shown that he can plan for different styles as well as a director of football. So I don't have a problem with Ashworth, man. If he's the guy, then he's the guy, bro.
Yeah, I'm all for him. I'll be honest. Like, the team he built at Brighton, the team he built at, like, if you're at Brighton and you're getting me Matt McAllister's for 5 million from Argentine juniors, if you're getting me the Caicedo that was linked to Man United, and the Man United board didn't want to roll the dice on him, but he did, from the Matomas in the Japanese.
Bro, and even Basuma, I think, must have been him as well.
And the thing that I like, bro, is like, signings are not coming from like top 5 leagues. That real talk, who's sitting down watching the Japanese league? Nobody. At the end of the day, there's gems there. They went and got a Matoma that from day one hit the ground running. And like, this season, fair enough, he's had injuries, he's been in and out of the team. Yeah, but bro, Matoma, when he starts, you know what you're getting out of him. And what? They got Matoma for like what? I think it was like 7 million. 7 million, yeah. So I like managers like that, from what, the Bruno G's for like 35, 40 million, like Livramento, Lewis Hall. Now, I'll be honest, like, Ashworth has done his thing and he's shown whatever the budget is, I can get you value for money. Like, I can find you those hidden gems. And at the end of the day, if I appoint the right people around me that can develop these hidden gems, then we're onto something, because this £7 million baller, I'll turn them into a £50 million baller in 12 months. And that's what they've done at Brighton.
Sure. 100%. Big up everyone inside. Big up Milestone to Millions for the super chat as well. Make sure you smash the like. So yeah, overall, we just need to wait and see, bro. We just need to wait and see, bro. Matoma cost Brighton. Whoa, 1 second. Matoma cost Brighton 2.5 million, he said, which is brazy, bruv. Which is actually brazy. So yeah, man. Oi, you lot though. Listen, it's been a great show. Haj has a show with Ty, isn't it? We're gonna redirect over there. So you lot make sure you smash the like on the way in to the show. And also make sure you subscribe to Haj Ball. The link is in the title. Let them know what's coming up in the show, bro.
Me and Ty are gonna chat where it went wrong for United against Fulham, fam. Let's see what he has to say.
For real, bro, because you've been sitting on the fence for a minute, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Ty, it is what it is. I remember Ty said to me the other day, what was it? It was a couple weeks ago. He said something along the lines of, if we win this run of games, Rants, we need to sit down and talk. I told him the season finishes in May, blood. So I want to see what Ty's gonna have to say today, bruv. I'll be tuning in, you know, like that. So, guys, big up. Make sure you subscribe to this channel if you're new. Closing in on 90k. We're less than 1,000 away. So we're less than 900 away even. So make sure you guys subscribe. We're doing a giveaway at 90,000. Make sure you subscribe to Hajball. The link is in the title. And when I redirect you over to Ty and Haj's show, make sure you smash the like on the way in. And yeah, man, I'll see you guys back here later at 8 o'clock with Daps, bro. You know what I mean? Talking a bit of Manchester City. And yeah, big up everyone inside. And I'll catch you in a few hours.